15.6, 15.7 that was put in earlier in the month, ever so slightly. Let's see where we traded down to. A little bit less than, or a little bit lower in the next 4 hour. 15.5, a random point for Bitcoin to bounce. Really nothing there. If we look left historically, there's not a lot of support there, but there is psychological value to the 15,000 zone and the 15.5. That makes that's psychological, as I usually say, in both directions. Psychological levels are almost always profit taking or position entering levels for someone in the market. We see charts reverse course at these levels all the time, but they're not usually macro pivots. So 15.5 here, not super exciting, not a historical level, really looking for just a psychological bounce. But what's pretty cool, Lux Algo did give us the strong the buy signal on the 4 hour, which pushed us to the top of our symmetrical triangle, or you can call it a bear flag. You can definitely call it a bear flag. We have not seen that 4 hour X, so we haven't seen that trade close. You can see Lux Algo on the 4 hour went, or suggested short at 16.5 and said to close right before this bump at 15.7, so good trade. Looking for that X to appear. It's not there yet. What I don't love, Lux Algo not giving us any kind of daily buy signal on this low, not really confirming the low is in. Weekly, same thing, and of course if we go to the monthly, that's going to hold true as well. So not a lot of positivity there, but on the 4 hour we do see that long quick play. Let me take a look at the daily time frame here on Bitcoin. Momentum, not really where we want it. Money flow slightly green, but not looking strong. The daily on Market Cipher, to me, not suggesting significant upside, at least not at the moment. The weekly weirdly looks a little bit better to me. We see money flow not quite yet at a lower low. That could paint a higher low. That could be some bullish action. VWAP is supporting that. VWAP is looking to move up. So it's interesting, actually, even as momentum continues downward, the weekly may be gaining a little bit of legs here, according to Market Cipher. Nothing really confirmed there at the moment. 12 hour, probably very similar. Not looking good. 12 hour in a very strong downtrend on Bitcoin, despite some positive momentum. I'm not loving the way this looks. Kind of secret alpha that we can take away here is I do like this. If you guys remember, I was talking about this I think with Jason Casper. No, before Jason Casper's stream. We identified this bear flag or symmetrical triangle, and I said, well, we're likely to just trend inside this triangle, right? We're likely to just bounce around in here. But what I'm going to look for is, and I call it a fake break. It's not a, I don't know if that's a real term, but I said I'm going to be more comfortable if we break to the downside, hit a slightly lower low, than I will if we break to the upside. On a break to the upside first, I would have expected some kind of short squeeze. Actually, I think I did talk to Jason Casper about this. Some kind of short squeeze, and I was like, maybe we'll see like 21, and that will be, in my opinion, the more bearish scenario. I think that would get sold off. That didn't happen. Luckily, we did get the break to the downside first. This is my own personal TA. This is how I see it. Fake breaks in these symmetrical triangles happen all the time, and it typically signifies the opposite direction the market is moving. Though our indicators aren't really backing that up yet, so it is a hard call. I do like that we did get that slightly lower low. We're back in the triangle, and so now what I'm looking for is a more substantial move to the upside. Fingers crossed, hopium engaged. Our indicators are not saying it on our mid to longer time frames, but we did get the fake break. Price is currently at 16.5, pretty much where it's been since it's fallen. Very sideways trading here on the corn. Look for a break to the upside. Let me see. That would only take really 16.9, 17. In the 17 zone, I think that will lead to farther continuation. Break, obviously, of 15.5, and you're looking, in my opinion, same target. If 15.5 isn't the bottom, which I don't see a reason for it to be, I'm looking at 13.8. That would be the macro support from 2019. It was the monthly close in 2017 for Bitcoin after it hit the all-time high. And it was never back tested on the monthly time frame. So for me, those are lots of confluence. You guys check out the video with Jason Casper or Gareth Soloway where I explained it. We also have the 400 weekly moving average there. Moving average, to my knowledge, has never been tested. Fits kind of the cycles. We see the previous, if the farther you go back, you'll see that bear markets ended at the 100 weekly, 200 weekly, 300 weekly at March 2020, and now potentially at the 400 weekly at 13.8. That would wrap it up, make it all nice and tight little package. Let's move on to Litecoin quick. I didn't put it in the title. I'll change that. Litecoin beast mode. In beast mode since June's low. Let me see. The quarterly. We're going to have to go farther than the quarterly. The yearly? Here we go. This is Litecoin versus Bitcoin's value. That's what we're going to be paying attention a lot to in this quick episode today. Hopefully I can keep it quick. The Litecoin Bitcoin pair. So Litecoin's value versus Bitcoin actually in a bullish engulfing for the year while it's trading above 0043. This is quite a yearly candle. Litecoin Bitcoin has not seen a green candle since 2017. What's interesting here is the long bottom wick, a strong bodied candle that peaks out, and we see these 4 years of falling. If this repeats, Litecoin may have significant upside against Bitcoin. It doesn't necessarily mean anything on its dollar pair. They both could go down. Really what it means is Litecoin, if they both go down, in theory would go down less. So we saw a nice run from 47 all the way to $83. That was pretty sick. In the last 2 days, we've seen consolidation and pulling back. Where would we look? I'm going to say the logical daily local support right here set back in early November. To see this pull back and bounce would make a lot of sense on a technical level. I think, I was talking about that with Jason. I think there's a trade to be made there for the right trader. None of this is financial advice, of course. Not that that really means anything, but guys, please don't just listen to me and blindly copy. This stream is for education. It's for just looking at someone who's been trading a long time, get a feel for what they're doing, and then go forth and create your own system and your own plan. Highly don't want people depending on me. It's not the way to learn. Not the way to be a successful trader. From 59 to 83, we do see our golden ratio, our golden retrace, or 618, just below support. So maybe that suggests a more conservative entry on that support test at like 67.5. Could be good for a bounce. This chart looking better than Bitcoin. That's really all there is to it. Litecoin hit its low in June. Oh wow, that's actually spicy. So this is actually hella spicy. In May, I didn't really realize this. In May, it hit 51, went down to a lower low at 40. It has not broken its June low. Unlike Bitcoin, I think similar to Ethereum, we'll probably pull that up next, has not broken its June low and hit a higher high here on our consolidation. If Litecoin can hold its low at 47, up's the only direction left. So I'm feeling pretty good about Litecoin. Not saying to the moon, but honestly, guys, again, not financial advice, but if Litecoin moves to about the $50 range again, which I'm not positive it will, that seems like a pretty solid place to at least maybe start a position. I might be interested. If we get a third touch here and I'm feeling good about the market, I might even pick up more Litecoin, which that's the last thing I need. Litecoin back to number 2 on my portfolio. Back to number 2. That is how much Bitcoin, or that's how much Litecoin has grown over the last few months. All the way back to number 2. Ethereum dominated the number 2 spot for months, maybe even years. A year or two. Moving along. Let's do Ethereum next. So Ethereum versus BTC. Following our little doodle here, following our head and shoulders into inverse head and shoulders pattern, looking for higher highs, seems to have found support at our main or macro trend here. Let me make this a little more visible for you. We're seeing our lows come up. This is held pretty solidly since 2019, this Ethereum Bitcoin trend. All trends do break eventually. I would look to see if it breaks its low here, 0.655, breaking that, probably out of trend, likely back down to the 0.5 level. But I'm watching for that to continue on. If we look at the dollar pair, yes, Ethereum similar to Litecoin here, putting its lows in June and has not retested those lows. That is relative strength, even though Ethereum is low right now. That's relative strength versus BTC, as BTC has put in a significantly lower low here this month. Ethereum and Litecoin seemingly not as phased. Now, it is pulled back down to its $1,100 support. This was a macro support all the way back from 2018. It is holding true here. People say that charts don't work are silly. Still holding. It's been tested 2 times. What's really cool about this from a TA perspective is the daily closes here are almost perfect on 1100. To me, that's definitely showing support. What I don't love is, well, we have 2 tests of support. So what's happened? We've weakened that support twice. On a 3rd test, the probability of it breaking is greater than in the first 2, and that continues out 4th test, 5th test, etc. What Ethereum really needs to do here to get itself in a good position is it needs to break out of this awful potential pattern. We don't like these flat bottoms, descending highs when we're looking for upside. This is a bearish pattern that we do see break to the downside rather commonly in crypto. And if it plays out on Ethereum, I'm going to be looking probably for 750. That'll probably be my first place I would be looking, as this bounce at 880 wasn't really, it's kind of like Bitcoin, not really a macro or major historical level. 17.5 is, and with this pattern painting, that's the logical target. If you break your highs though, really any trading above 1300, Ethereum may be back in good position, maybe looking to do its golden retrace. That actually looks about right. Using our high and our low here, boom, boom. Our 618 is directly at 1,420, blaze it. By the way, guys, thank you for 69,420 subscribers. We're well into 70K now. I love you all. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. By the way, I do have 2 giveaways going on my Twitter. It's pinned to the top. That's a premium trading view yearly subscription. It's $720 value. Giving that away, all I have to do is retweet. I'll pick the winner maybe today or maybe when I'm on the plane tomorrow. We'll see. As well as I'm giving away multiple tickets to Decentral in Miami. If you're in Miami or you're traveling during that time, let me know. I get to pick the winners. Let's get our boys out here. So check that out on Twitter. Yeah, Ethereum, there we go. We're either in this pattern or we're not. It's validated when we break, or if we break 1072. Invalidated above 1300-ish, looking for 1,420 previous support back here. Looking to test it as resistance. We'll see what happens. Let's move on to MATIC. So I actually didn't notice this, but this is pretty spicy too. MATIC has done some interesting things. This is MATIC versus Bitcoin again. We're doing these pairs because when markets are sideways, I think this is the best way to look at it. So what's interesting here, I didn't even notice. MATIC versus BTC retested. That's right. Retested its 2021 high 2 weeks ago. I did not catch this. So we had our quad 6651. That was retested 2 weeks ago. This is an interesting chart to me. This caught my eye. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Now, yes, we can say this is a double top, right? These are the same high. I can't draw. This and this, same high. And usually that's bearish. I think that's fair. So when we look at the USD pair, we're likely going to be a little more biased to the downside. However, we're going to want to see where this retraces to, because we haven't seen a severe rejection from that double high, or double top, double high. Ha! I'll be double high. I haven't seen a severe rejection. If MATIC BTC can find support here, let's say quad 3700 or 3000 down at its 618 retrace, we might get actually an inverse head and shoulders painting. We could have a very interesting pattern here. I would definitely be stoked to see that on MATIC. It's all going to come down to where do the buyers come in on the BTC valuation pair. So let's look at the dollar pair now. We do have a little bit of downside bias with that double top. We do. We did not hit $1.44 on our run up. This is an ugly ass pattern. Holy hell. Support below you at MATIC, 65.3 cents. I think this could provide the right trader a good entry. I believe that to be true. It's also your 0.5 retrace from your swing low to your swing high. That adds up pretty well. Your 618 chilling down here for a little more conservative. That'd be about 54 cents. I could take that. I could take that. There's probably a trade there. 54 cents. I'd probably do this if I were to take this trade, and I'm not going to because I won't be around my computer for the next few days. I'd probably look to enter a small position at 65 and then a larger position at like 55, and then looking to stop maybe just under 50 cents. But hey, do you figure it out what works for you? I could also see before a fall here, I could definitely see a move up to just that $1 to test this ascending trend line, reject, and move lower. This This is an ugly pattern. I'm not really into MATIC's chart right now. But there we go. You got 65 cents below, $1 resistance above, and with the BTC pair, without seeing it break its all-time high, unlikely to move past $1 without significant upside for Bitcoin, which, again, we have not seen. We have not seen that yet. Solana. So Solana, this is pretty spicy, actually. We were watching Solana live on the crash day just a week or two ago. And we said Solana has $12.50, and that's it. If it can't hold $12.50, things are not looking good. Really, below $12.50, you have to look all the way down to about $5 to get support on Solana. This is a high-risk trade. I'm not looking to take this kind of risk on during this macro environment. You may be out there because I know people are interested. Good news for the Solana lovers. It did hold support. It's still holding support at the moment at $12.50. It is in a weekly bullish engulfed candle. Not bad. It has not set a higher high versus last week. I would like to see that here in the next 2 days and 6 hours. Market Cypher B really not favoring. Really not favoring this chart. Looking very heavy on the weekly time frame. Very heavy. Another day. Same thing on the daily. This is looking more bearish than anything else really we've looked at. Looking quickly at the monthly, you get the vibe. I think this is important to look at. If you're in Solana and you're thinking about if you want to enter or what, look at the monthly here. This is not a healthy chart, man. You can almost even say like you're looking for some kind of head and shoulders pattern maybe. $32.85. Harsh rejection after months of consolidation here. What does that mean? There are trapped orders above $32.85, and when or if price returns to it, likely those orders are looking to get out of their positions. That's going to provide resistance. So even a move up to $32.85 doesn't really guarantee you much, doesn't really give you much. You're just back to resistance. If I did open a long, if I got lucky, opened a long, I might look to close at $32.75 if it comes. That's probably what I'd be looking at. Daily. Yeah, really Market Cypher, not hot on it. Let's see if Lux has done anything. Only a few days left for both Market Cypher and Lux Algo's Black Friday sales. It had a strong sell from $32.84. It said to close, or it suggested close at $14.40. No buy signal yet. This is a little distressing to me. I've looked at many charts, and none of them on Lux Algo are giving us a buy or a bullish signal on really any kind of time frame above like maybe 4 hours. That's not great. You can see Lux also sniped. It sniped here on Sol at just under 12. A little bit of upside, but it did suggest the close. I mean, maybe a pullback. The only way I would look to trade this is a pullback to 1250 looking to go long. That's the only way I would probably trade it. Maybe stop below the low. And there we go. Back up to about 20 bucks. I could see that playing out. This is a very risky trade. I think this is more likely, but let's not be boring. 1250 likely the entry. FTT, I don't know why people are still Googling it, but it's racking up searches still on both YouTube and Google. So I figured I'd take a look. FTT, after the FTX collapse, traded from $27 down to $1. More than a 99% downside. That does not mean it can't go minus 99% again. This could trade down to 10 cents. Don't be fooled. Just because it's gone down doesn't mean it has to go back up. I will give you one thing. We do tend to look for retracements, right? So it's not crazy to think FTT might trade higher at some point, but this is a poisonous. This is a toxic bag. I would not touch it. In all honesty, I think it will break $1. The problem with things like this is there's not going to be liquidity, and you are ripe to just get stopped out. Because say, oh, Tom, you're going to think it's going to go under $1. I can short. That's 100%. That's a 50% drop. It's 100% gain on 2x. Yeah, but this could just do whatever. There isn't real demand at this point. The only demand on this is going to be people chasing shorts, those shorts closing, creating buy orders, and people looking to get out of positions for pennies on the dollar. I would not touch this at all. Market Cypher B, though, did give us a daily green dot, suggesting some kind of bottom, and that was Literally today. Interesting. The plot thickens. The plot thickens. I did not expect that. Let's see if Lux is in here. Nope. Nope. Can't get a freaking buy signal on the day. Can't do it. So FTT, I wouldn't touch it. This is a crazy person's trade, but I know you guys, there's some crazy ones out there. If you're looking to make something, if you're going to, do your own thing, as I suggest, 775, that's your 618 retrace. If it hits, that's where I'd get the H out. That's 2.5x up. Now, not bad. My confidence in this is very low. Very low confidence. Is there a thumbs down? There we go. Low confidence on that. Moving on, CRV. Let's look at CRV. I haven't looked at CRV really. I know you have at least one person who asks for it every once in a while. It's been a bit, but this chart caught my eye, and I think it's worth talking about. I think this is worth talking about. This here, not really a sexy pattern, right? Not a sexy pattern. However, we did break June's low, but we didn't break. So this kind of reminds me in a weird way of Litecoin. You have to look back to a previous low. The CRV had a low down here at 31 cents, rallied up into 2022 to $6, traded right back down. This is why it caught my eye. Look at the wick. Look at the wick on CRV. This is the monthly. This ain't no little time frame. This is the monthly. Your monthly candles closed here, creating a monthly support at 41.7 cents. Cool. You tested it. It held. Even cooler. Now let's look at the monthly again. We have an order block at 67.6 cents. We also had the monthly find support here on the previous low in June at 67.6 cents. Look at where our monthly is now. This is technically, from a technical perspective, a beautiful chart. You have a lower low. It hit a historical major support, and now it's recovered its local monthlies and this monthly order block. This is a strong chart, man. How you would trade this, that's going to be a tough one, because entering right here is pretty risky. If you grabbed at 41.7 at that monthly support, bravo to you. That's quite a play. I think the way I would trade this is I would be patient. I would not look to go long here. If anything, we're at that monthly. Maybe you look for an interim short position for a higher low. Try to close it maybe at your weekly support at 50 cents. Also psychological. You can maybe look to go long there and scope out 138. That's actually pretty slick too. The trade may not be there yet. We might just have to be patient, but on this chart there is a wonderful, glorious trade to be made. Maybe I haven't found it yet, but these monthly levels being respected, wicked down to the monthly low. Now we're trading above. A monthly close above 67.6 cents is going to be phenomenal. Really hope it happens. I don't own any CRV, just to be transparent, but there we go. There we go. Cool. I got through the ocean to go either. Maybe last year, not this year. Nice eye on BNB here. I like it. I like it, man. We were looking at the potential kind of head and shouldersy pattern on BNB BTC at 0158, 0159. It looks like BNB is a honey badger again, pushing back through. Now at 0182. I think it's looking for a test of its all-time high, 0197. That wasn't that long ago. It's looking pretty ripe. Let's see what Mr. Market Cipher B says for us here. Money flow is good, trending up. VWAP trending down, momentum up. VWAP's a little worrying for me, but BNB has been so light, like a feather. It just keeps floating up. I don't know. It's hard to bet against this. I'm not looking to short BNB, but I'll say this, man. Link ran all through the bear market in 2018, 2019, even 2020. It ran all the way through. And then as soon as the bull market started, it kind of lost its jive. Maybe that's what we're going to see on BNB. And so when the short comes, that might be the end of the bear market. We'll see. That's just totally hypothetical. BNB USD, slightly lower low here. You're really still high above 233. You're really not close to 324. Not a lot going on there. That upside rejection is pretty savage. Not gonna lie, that's pretty savage. We have a nice candle on the weekly. I'm undecided. I would expect BNB BTC to kind of just like continue floating. Maybe it doesn't break its high, you know, the next day or two, but maybe it just floats up, touches it, moves back. It has been on a ripper. It's been on a ripper. We'll look at the XRPs, because I know you guys like XRPs. Dang, lost its SOS pattern, fell back to 34.6 cents. Now it's just chilling. So here, XRP, this right here, it sucks that it lost this flag. This was really beautiful potential, like kind of wake off into SOS. It sucks it lost that, but I will say this: if it can move back up and kind of consolidate in this 42 zone and break up above its previous high here, it is going to put in a pattern that, to my experience in crypto, is very much like a macro bottoming pattern.